Good evening, South Tama Trojan fans. Welcome to Trojan Country and another night of basketball here live from the Round House. I'm Darvin Graham. I'll be joined by my co-host George Cuter in a few moments. And we are just in the pregame here before the STC Independence boys varsity matchup here tonight in Tama. The girls, of course, on the road to take on the Mustangs over in Independence. So we wish them the best. If we get any score updates as we go on this evening, we'll be sure to pass those along during tonight's broadcast. Got a nice-looking crowd coming into the Roundhouse here tonight. I'd say those familiar with the South Tama gym setup and format for the last few years, with the one side of the lower bleachers not open to spectators and just for the bench and the scores table. So if you think of the other side of the gym, I would say we're about at 70% on those bleachers. The south end bleachers on the baseline where the pet band is. We've got the alumni pet band in the house tonight, so a lot of extra members of the band helping out this evening, which is always great to see. That's usually a very well-attended event for community members and alumni. And we're setting up for a great night of basketball here tonight. And we're excited to have you with us. Today we're going to have a couple of feature interviews with a couple of our get-to-know-the-player interviews with, first it's going to be Drayton White, one of our STC wrestlers, and then during halftime we're going to hear from Wyatt Capayu and Jeremy Dolash from the basketball team. So you have that to look forward to coming up. We've got a Coach's Corner interview with Dustin Pesca, the STC boys head coach. Right now, you can see in the background there, the Frosh game is in the fourth quarter. South Tama freshmen and sophomores trailing Independence 70-23 is the score there. And I'd like to say thank you to all of our sponsors who have been with us this winter season. They include Cruzy Phillips Funeral Home, Salt Creek Wind, State Bank of Toledo, Sharn Weber's, Mark West Law, S&S Car Wash, Medicap Pharmacy, Iowa Premium, the Tama Pump, and Mercy Care Tama. All of our Trojan Country broadcasts, of course, made possible by the Charlie Townsley Memorial. All right, we are going to jump into our first get-to-know-the-player interview. This one is with one of our wrestlers, STC's Drayton White. Later on in the pregame, we will take a look at the results from South Tama's double duel last night. The Trojans went over to Solon and took on the Spartans and the Marion Wolves. So we'll break down how the Trojans fared in that one. It was boys and girls traveling last night, and take a look at how they're doing as they're just getting the new year started, along with a lot of the other teams in the state of Iowa. All right, we'll be right back after this. You're listening to Trojan Country. It's time for another STC Student Athlete Spotlight. Today I'm joined by STC Junior Wrestler Drayton White. Drayton, how are you today?
Good, how are you?
Good. We're going to talk a little bit about wrestling first. Can you tell me how long you've been wrestling and kind of how you got into it as a sport?
I've been wrestling since 6th grade. I wrestled in kindergarten, when I was younger, but after that I just had no interest in it. But I got back into it in 6th grade and been wrestling since.
So you must have found something that kept your interest and got you excited about coming back every year. What's been that for you as now you're in your upperclassmen years?
Probably my dad. He got me into wrestling. He wrestled when he was younger, and he just got me into it, and he took me to Iowa meets and stuff, and I just started getting back into it.
Yeah. So are there any, college wrestlers or wrestlers that are, to come through in earlier years that you look up to? Any, you talk about going to an Iowa meet. Any of those wrestlers that stick out when you've gone and watched those guys?
Not when I've gone and watched, but a couple years ago we had Paul Bradley come in.
Oh, yeah.
And I really looked up to him, and he's a good wrestler, and he went to Iowa. Yeah. And, after him coming in, just got back into it a lot more. And
Do you have is there maybe a favorite part of a wrestling match for you? Do you like kind of working on top more, coming from the bottom position? Is there a part of a match that you feel like you're strongest in or that you enjoy the most?
Probably on top. You got to really hammer them and work your stuff and just control them. And it's a lot easier to control them on top than on bottom.
What do you find is the most challenging part of the wrestling experience?
Probably fighting off your back. It's a lot of work. And just being on bottom in general, just having all that top pressure on you.
Right, right. What is something that you're working on technique-wise or to improve your game? Is there a part of your wrestling, I don't know, technique that you're working on right now to get better?
Probably my bottom, being faster on the bottom, just getting up faster and just working on my foot movement, trying to be faster on my feet. I went from heavier weight to smaller weight, so I'm a lot flat-footed.
Okay.
Just trying to get on my toes a lot more.
Yeah. What are some goals that you have for the rest of the season?
Hopefully make it to state. That's my biggest goal for this season. And just really just not getting pinned overall.
Yeah. I'm going to switch to some kind of broader questions just to get to know you a little bit. Can we tell me about any siblings or pets that you have? Tell us about them.
5 brothers.
Wow.
And 3 dogs.
Okay. So where are you in the list of 5 then?
I'm the oldest out of all.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yep.
So what's that like being the older brother to a whole bunch of young ones?
It's kind of nice. You get to be a role model for them, and you get to boss them around a little bit. But
are any of them close in age to you? Are you wrestling them, or does that get to?
The closest one's in 7th grade. He's 12.
Okay.
But other than that.
Gotcha. And then the dog. Tell me the dogs' names. What type of dogs do you have?
I got 3 dogs. I got Remy, Rudis, and Tiny.
Nice.
2 of them are, all 3 of them are doodles.
Okay. Nice. What are some hobbies or interests that you have outside of school and outside of wrestling?
Hunting, like to hunt, and real big into trucks.
Okay. So you have a truck?
Yep, I have a truck.
And tell me about what do you have, or do you have a favorite make or model or a dream truck that you'd like to have someday?
Not really. I just like Chevys.
Sure. And how's the hunting season gone so far? Have you been out this year?
Not real too good because of wrestling, but
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any unique talents or skills?
Not really that I know of, I guess.
All right. If you could have any job in the world, what would it be and why?
Probably real estate, like realtor, selling big like mansions and stuff.
Okay. Tell me about any of your heroes. Anybody come to mind when you think of heroes?
Probably my dad getting me into wrestling, and my mom for taking me to tournaments and stuff.
Sure. What's the first thing you do after winning $1 million?
Probably invest it, try and get more money out of it.
Yeah. All these kids investing, man.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Help out my parents.
Good. What's something people might be surprised to learn about you? Can there come to mind?
I don't know. Nothing really comes to mind, I guess.
All right. If you could be an animal for a day, if you could change into an animal, what kind of animal would you be and why?
Probably gorilla, real strong.
Yeah.
Could throw around anything, really.
Yeah. And I'm going to end with some favorites questions for you. What is your favorite food?
Probably steak.
Okay. What's your favorite book, movie, TV show, or video game?
Probably have to go with Yellowstone.
Okay. How about favorite music or favorite music artist?
I like country. Probably my favorite music artist is Zach Bryan.
All right. Favorite type of weather, favorite season?
Winter.
And favorite sport?
Wrestling.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Drayton. Best of luck to you on the rest of the season.
Thank you.
I was born in a dump. My mama died a rusty shack. All I had was hanging on my back. Now you know how I love this place called Tobacco Road. It's home. The only life.
It's time for Coach's Corner here on Trojan Country. Today I'm joined by STC head boys coach Dustin Pesca. Dustin, how are you today? We're just kind of at the halftime mark of this freshman game. How's your night going so far?
Hey, it's Friday. We're in the Round House. We're ready to play some basketball. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, we got the alumni pep band. You'll hear them probably cut into the interview here in the background, and got a nice crowd trickling into the Roundhouse. Talk to me a little bit about your last game on Monday. It was Marquette Catholic. Kind of a new matchup, a new non-conference game that found its way onto the schedule this year. A tough finish despite two very competitive quarters in the first half for you guys. Talk me through a little bit of your takeaways from that game.
Yeah, you just said it in the first half. A stat that if nobody watched the game or knew anything about it and just seen the score, we were ahead the entire first half outside the last 10 seconds. So playing against the number 10 team in the state in 1A, when you're ahead a whole half, pretty much, that goes to show that we can play basketball. We have a good team, and we just now need to learn how to play 32 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, one of maybe the stories, if you want to call it that, or the narrative for this South Tama team has just been the small numbers of bodies that you've got on the bench, on the roster. Tonight, one of the first nights, it looks like you guys are going to have maybe the most varsity players available that you've had so far. Wyatt Capeyu looks to be making his first appearance with the varsity team tonight, and some other kids just joining in. Last game, what will you hope some of those additions will mean for this varsity team?
Yeah, it'll mean a lot. I don't know if there's a high school varsity team out there in the state of Iowa, maybe even in the nation, I don't know, that's on their 9th game and just finally going to get all their bullets.
Right,
so
right.
This will be the first time. It'll be a change for us, but it's a good change. You get Wyatt, like you mentioned, a big physical kid. He's athletic. He can shoot the ball. He can rebound. He can finish around the rim probably better than anybody we have. So having that presence tonight is going to be a huge for us.
And then we're kind of at the halfway point, maybe. And so at this point of the season for this team and the kids that have been playing, where do you feel like the improvement has come from what you remember from the preseason and early on in this season? How do you feel like they've gotten better so far?
You know what? Defensively, I really think, and that goes back to the last game. That shows it, that first half, we're battling a top 10 team and ahead, pretty much the entire first half. It's because of defense. We're getting after, we're getting in the passing lanes, we're getting some steals, and getting some transition buckets. So I think, with the defense into some transition and pushing the ball up, which we call secondary, and advancing the ball up and pushing it, that's been a huge success for us.
Yeah. And this is maybe a difficult question, just given the fact that your roster has shifted around a lot. But at any rate, have you been able to find a rotation or find a kind of a set of plays or a rotation that you feel like is working at this point, or is it really just a wait and see kind of experimental mode at this stage?
I think we've narrowed it down to about a top 9. Mm-hmm. But with the top 5, I don't think we can say that.
Sure.
Practices every other drill, it's different. And it's competition. Kids are competing. Kids are getting after it. If they're not in that starting rotation, they're working because they want to get in that starting rotation, which is good. Mm-hmm. So any given night, 5 guys that start for us, it's up for grabs, and it's whoever earns it.
Talk a little bit about this matchup tonight. Independence, a very, on paper, it looks like a completely different roster that you'll face compared to last season when the Trojans saw Independence 2 times in the season. They had a whole swath of seniors that graduated off of that squad. What do you know about this Independence team, and what are you kind of focusing on tonight to try and succeed or make some improvements or strides against this Independence team?
They play hard. That's for one. Coach Beatty gets them to play hard. and they're going to fire them. There's four guys that got the green light. If you give them 2-3 feet, they're going to shoot it. So, we've really been working all week, getting out there, putting some pressure on them, and not giving them very much space. But, yeah, they play hard. They're going to fire them up, and, we got to keep them off the rebounds, limit their offensive rebounds, and hopefully take care of that in that aspect. But, when you get a hard group of working fellas, in the maroon, they're a tough out every single night. I know their record hasn't really shown it, but they're in a lot of games, a lot of close games, and like I said, you got to give them hats off. When the wins-loss isn't the way they want it, they don't give up and they're playing hard.
For you guys in the first half of the season, you've really had some competitive games that have kind of been close through 2 quarters, and then things fall off in the second half. That's what we've seen so far. Do you attribute that to a conditioning fatigue thing? Is it a mental thing more than not, or an adjustment that other teams are making coming out of half times? Do you see any patterns, I guess, is what I'm asking?
Yeah, and I'm one that doesn't like to make excuses. I like to, just say, hey, we lost tonight. We need to get better. But in the things, when I really do break it down, and I'm sitting here talking to you and the fans out there listening, when we were only playing 5 or 6 guys, fatigue does set in. These kids play their tails off. They are in great shape, but when you're asking them to play 32 minutes, some of them 25 to 32, whatever, night in and then coming to practice, and then going to another game, doing the same thing with the minutes, it catches up to you. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it does. But we're not going to use that as an excuse. We got more bodies now, so we can't use that as an excuse, and, it's only going to work to our advantage having more bodies.
One of the real bright spots off of the tail end of the December schedule was Kingston Davenport, a sophomore, coming in, getting 2 double-doubles to end the 22 calendar year, and had a very spirited game against Marquette Catholic. Not quite the same performance, but still brought a ton of energy and was really active down low. What can you say about his development as an underclassman coming in for the first time with a new group and a new team, coming from Meskwaki last year? What has he been bringing to this team so far?
Smiles, and smiles, and a lot of smiles. Man, I love that kid. He's full of energy. He's just smiling all the time. He loves the game. Just a real good kid to be around. And, he's really deceiving. He gets the ball out in the wing, and he can get to the rim so quick. And that's his strength, and I think he's starting to buy into it. He's explosive, and he finishes fairly well right around the rim. So, not that he can't shoot the outside shot, but, we got to play to our strengths and know our roles, and he's buying into that. And, just a real good kid. He's going to do whatever is asked of him. He doesn't miss, practices, and just a real good, hard-working kid.
For the remainder of the season, it looks to be this freshman and sophomore Frost unit, as it were, are going to kind of be the JV squad. It doesn't look like there's going to be JV games the rest of the way. What can we say about this freshman group that's here playing in front of us right now? And what are your thoughts kind of about them? I know you don't get as much time to work with them, but looking at them as the future of the program coming up, thoughts about the freshman group?
Yeah, hard-working group. With the wins and losses, it's easy to give up, but these kids are still here. They're still giving their all. They're having fun. And, they're getting after it. My words of encouragement to them is going to stay together. I'm going to talk to these guys and keep on them. They need to stay together, and they got to get in the open gyms in the off season. You can't just finish up basketball in the early March and then just pick it up again in November. It's not going to work. You're going to dig yourself a bigger hole. So there's a lot of improvement needed to be done, and, hard work is how it gets done. So it's totally up to them guys. There's plenty of opportunities in the gym. We open it, 2, 3, 4 times a week. Basically right when the season's over, all the way through the summertime, all the way through, November when we start. So, there's nobody to blame out there but themselves if they don't take advantage of the opportunity. And, it's there if they want it. And if they do take advantage of it, they're going to help close that gap.
You bet. All right, thanks a lot, Dustin. Best of luck to you and the Trojans out there on the court tonight. And we'll be rooting for you.
All right, thanks, Darvin. Appreciate it.
Medicap Pharmacy in Toledo offers free medication packaging and free delivery to surrounding areas. With convenient drive-up service and hours on Saturday morning, Medicap Pharmacy is always there for you. Visit with pharmacist Derek Townsend and his team by calling 484-6198 or stop by their location across from Fairway in Toledo. Medicap Pharmacy, locally owned and expertly operated. Good evening and welcome, South Tama Trojan fans. We are a couple minutes away from the start of the boys varsity game here between South Tama and Independence. I'm Darvin Graham, and I'm joined by my co-host this evening, George Cuter. George, how are you today?
We're just doing great.
Great to have you with me again. And we've got a great crowd here tonight. Got our alumni pep band in the house. It's an annual affair for the pep band and the music program. So always great to see some familiar faces coming back and really sounding great tonight. And we got a great crowd filtering into the stands as well. We're going to jump right in. We're about 3.5 minutes away from tip-off, or the starting lineups getting announced. So we're going to jump right into our starters. If you want to give us the Independence starters.
I will. We're going to go with Independence. Going to start with Jake Beatty, a 5'10" junior guard. Pretty good football player, pretty good basketball player, all around good athlete. Aiden Bernard, sophomore, 6'1", plays forward center. Good type of a mixed player. Number 4, Tanner Michael for the Mustangs, the junior guard, 5'8". Wyatt Cresser, a senior, 6-foot guard forward, is their next starter. And their final starter is Kyle Williams. He is a junior, 6'1", number 33 for Coach Chad Beatty's Independence Mustangs.
And your starters for the STC Trojans, they're going to be led by number 2, Cade Rosenberger. He is a junior guard. And then it's number 10, senior 5'11" guard, Ivan Alvarado. He's the leading scorer coming into tonight's contest for the Trojans. Then it's number 15, sophomore forward, Kingston Davenport. Davenport really having a breakout few games to end December, and a nice game again against Marquette Catholic we had earlier in the week. Davenport getting the start tonight. Then on the wing, it's number 20, senior forward, Pella Weiss. He is a three-point shooting specialist for the Trojans and a German foreign exchange student as well, staying with Mike and Joe Avis, his host family. Then number 50, rounding out the lineup for the Trojans, it's going to be junior center Jeremy Dolash. South Tama coming into tonight 1-7. They are coached by head coach Dustin Pesca and assisted by Nate Dorn. Last up, the Trojans lost to Marquette Catholic 68-43. That was earlier this week. Quick update score for you from the Frosh game earlier tonight. South Tama losing that one 80-23 against Independence. And quickly, as we've got our starters announced, we'll talk a little bit about the Independence team. The Mustangs coming in 3-6, and they have wins so far this season against Central City, Clear Creek Amana, and Vinton Shellsburg. Really kind of in the middle of things in the WaMaC East. Well, no, I should say that's not true. They're towards the bottom of the WaMaC East, but really competing against some mid-level teams. I mean, those two teams, CCA and Vinton Shellsburg, are decent WaMaC teams. So I look to see a pretty standard WaMaC matchup here tonight against South Tama. One thing, you kind of look down the score sheet. Independence does not feature a ton of height. They're a very high volume three-point shooting team. I think a top 10 three-point shooting team in the Class 3A around the state, both in terms of attempts and in terms of three-point percentage. So they can shoot it, they can hit it, and that's going to be a challenge for South Tama. They will have the benefit, though, of being pretty evenly matched in terms of height and length and size tonight. And one of the things we heard from South Tama is they're going to have their full kind of battalion of players tonight, with Wyatt Capeyu transferring in from Meskwaki. He gets his first action tonight. He'll come in off the bench. And a couple other, Daniel Weiss back in the lineup tonight. And, okay, we're going to go quickly to a break as we have the national anthem. We'll be right back with the tip-off live from the Round House. All right, welcome back live from the Roundhouse. Darvin Graham, George Cuter with you this evening. We're just about ready for tip-off here for South Tama and Independence. Really excited to see this full South Tama team in action this evening. What are your thoughts heading into this one, George?
This is going to be very the first conference game after the holiday break, when you get everybody eligible and everything is running smooth at the start of the new semester. It's going to be, I think, the South Tama Independence. This is going to be a pretty good game if South Tama can get in there and get going.
Independence wins the tip, and it's going to be Jake Beatty with the ball to start. They go inside real quick.
Defense.
That was Wyatt Kresser starting forward.
And that's going to be the key for South Tama, is to make sure that then when they have a chance, the opportunity with those rebounds, that they hang on to it. Because that's been kind of a tendency the last couple of games.
So after the missed shot by Kresser, South Tama gives it away, and we're back on the Independence half court. Tip out of bounds. Kyle Williams inbound pass.
There you go.
Taken away by Ivan Alvarado. Here he comes on the first trip down the court for the Trojans. Easy from the left side. Alvarado finishes for 2.
And that's going to be a very interesting dynamic there. We got some quickness up front.
Another steal. Cade Rosenberger getting into a passing lane this time. And Rosenberger going to run the point.
Yep. Just got to keep his wits about him here. Just don't work it inside.
Alvarado, nice post move. Gets around his defender. Again from the left, and good for 2. Trojans up 4. And this is what we saw against Marquette Catholic, a really strong 2 quarters. And these games have kind of played out very similar for this boys varsity team. An air ball from Jake Beatty and a rebound from the Trojans. Rosenberger into the lane. Alvarado had a look. Pump the brakes, and he's going to set the offense up.
We got plenty of time here. There it is. Nice.
And Davenport working around the screen, forces a timeout, and South Tama out with some energy here in front of a nice-looking crowd here at the Roundhouse.
That is. It's a nice crowd for a Friday night. It's a nice cold evening out. Everybody wants to come inside, see something to do, and the nice thing about it is South Tama came out and they started moving the ball, and they're really moving the ball well.
Yeah, absolutely. Some good touches, multiple players getting involved.
Yeah, it's the patience. It's the patience that sometimes when you jump out to an early lead, you have a tendency to kind of slack off a little bit. I know Coach Pesca is just telling me to keep up the pressure on this Independence team, because Independence is going to come down and they could get back in the game real quick because they like to shoot the 3.
Tanner Michael, the leading scorer coming into this one for Independence. He comes in averaging 14.5 points per game. Also their leading 3-point shooter, averaging just over 41% from 3. But still scoreless are the Mustangs. And here's Michael with the ball coming up the left side. Bernard, the sophomore. All these Mustang players in their first real varsity starting situation. A lot of them on the team last year, but a full set of seniors. There's Michael in the middle of the lane for 2. And the Mustangs on the board.
Putting a little pressure on Cade.
Davenport from the wing, hands off to Alvarado.
I'd like to see him be a little bit more aggressive than he has been in the last.
Alvarado got a nice look, but just couldn't get the bank shot to work.
There it is.
Last touched by Bernard underneath, and Trojans get a freebie here. Bit of a mismatch, I think, between Kresser and Alvarado. Kresser really moving and built more like a forward.
Exactly.
And Alvarado can handle it as well as anybody on the court. There he goes in.
Oh. Got away with one. There he is.
Missed time shot, but the cleanup by Rosenberger. And South Tama now back up by 6. Beatty kicks it over to Michael. Back into the lane goes Michael. This is where he was last time. Missed shot. Davenport the rebound. He's out and running, depth of court.
Just got to keep forcing that shot in the middle for Independence, and there it is.
Alvarado tries a three, not there. Cresser the rebound. Quickly up the court, here come the Mustangs, 1, 2, 3. And it's Williams to finish it off at the hoop. Nice sequence there by the Mustangs on the fast break. This is where South Tamas really has to be methodical, not give away possessions.
It just worked. Yep.
Pella Weiss kicks it back out. And Trojans working their offense here in the half court. Alvarado, screen from Davenport. Rosenberger, three.
There it is.
And Rosenberger's good from the corner.
And that's, if you get a hot hand with Cade, that's what you're going to look forward to, is feeding him a little bit and using all the clock that you can.
Michael to Bernard. Bernard up against Dolash, draws the foul. In the bucket. Nope. Nope, the bucket. Yep, he got the and one. First points of the night for Bernard. The foul is on Jeremy Dolash, who will head to the bench. For Wyatt Capeyu. Capeyu coming in for the first time for the Trojans this season. Was ineligible during 2022, but is joining the team now. There's a three-pointer from Pella Weiss.
Yep.
Off the mark.
Don't force the three. You got a lot of time in that clock.
Steal by Alvarado and a foul. I think called on Bernard maybe.
Yep.
So Bernard's a sophomore. Gives up the foul.
That's his first. That's kind of one of those just reactionary fouls that you're going to get every once in a while off a steal.
Kingston Davenport from the wing. Inside to Capeyu.
Yep.
His first look through contact. Gets his own rebound.
No.
Oh, and just gets robbed at the rim there. Bounced the wrong way.
And that's the game. That's the game experience. He just needs to keep shooting. If he gets that, keep shooting that.
Bernard up the court, takes it himself, and finishes from the left side. Bernard with 4. Capeyu drives in. Ball gets stripped away. Last touch by Independence.
Yep.
And you can see Trojans trying to get Capeyu started here. He can be an offensive force, average double figures for the Meskwaki Settlement School last year in limited action, and has some catching up to do after missing the first half of the season.
And that's exactly it, is where does he fit in?
Yep.
And he seems to be, he's really, I like to see the aggressiveness there under the basket.
Yep. Screen from Capeyu.
There it
Give
is.
and go back to Davenport. Trojans
Nice.
kind of running into each other here a little bit in the half court. The ball on the baseline gets kind of thrown away. Independence with Michael and a 3. And there's the first triple for the Mustangs. They like to shoot them like that. We'll see if that gets something started for Independence. Trojans down by 1 now. But a foul underneath the hoop on the South Tama end. Jake Beatty picks up the foul. Second team foul for Independence, sending Ivan Alvarado to the line. That's where he likes to be. Really aggressive in the lane. Dynamic playmaker underneath the basket. We're going to have 2 shots here. There we go. Alvarado's first off the back of the rim. As Lucius Bear is getting set to check in for the Trojans. Another one of the transfers for the South Tama team this year. Adding to some of the depth for this varsity squad that's as recently as a couple games ago has went into a game with 7 players on the roster, 2 on the bench, and that's just, things got real hairy at the end of that Vinton-Schellsburg game. And
exactly.
Thankfully they came out of it without having to call it early, but things got real tight there. Tie game, Independence ball.
Ooh.
And Beatty goes right at Capeyu after pump faking on a 3. But we'll have a foul before the shot. Foul is on Davenport. Trayton Weber is inbounding, coming in off the bench. There's a three. Rumbles around from Josh Beatty. It's no good. Rebound South Tama. Capello rumbling
right
into
down
the
middle.
lane.
Nice.
Finger roll at the hoop.
Yeah.
First points for Wyatt Capello.
And that's what you like to see, is him taking it coast to coast. If everybody else is not there, he's just going to run right down the middle, and he's just going to shoot the ball. These guys, this team right now on the floor is not afraid to shoot the ball.
Nope.
They just have to control their aggressiveness.
Michael inside to Bernard. The double team back outside. There's a shot from Josh Beatty. Davenport tracks down the rebound. Here come the Trojans.
Here we go.
Bear from the top. Sees an opening. Dumps it off to Rosenberger. Offensive foul called against Bear. First personal for Lucius Bear. Ivan Alvarado checks in for Cade Rosenberger. And those two have done a lion's share of the work this season.
Exactly.
And have been called upon to play nearly full games. There's Bernard again. He's been formidable down low so far for the Mustangs. Little lob at the hoop from Capello, no good.
And this is where you need to you've got to control that run and gun right here.
Almost a travel there.
There you go.
Gets thrown away. Bernard trying to connect with Keelan Hoover in off the bench for Independence. Yeah, both teams a little ahead of themselves.
Exactly.
Pace-wise.
Pace-wise, it's the game it should fall into South Tama's hands here real quick, because you're not going to see a lot of subbing from Independence. There's a three for
Pella Weiss.
Weiss.
His first points tonight, and he can get hot in a hurry.
Yeah.
So South Tama would love to have that at their disposal as well tonight, as they really have yet to put together, outside of that East Marshall game, have yet to put together a full 4 quarters. Weber goes to the rim and gets fouled. He'll go to the line for 2. Second foul on Kingston Davenport. That could be a problem.
You got to be careful there.
Still with a minute and 13 to go in the first quarter. Davenport's been a key component at the post for South Tama. So in comes Jeremy Dolash. Strong defender underneath. Will put 2 big bodies at the rim for South Tama. But Davenport going to the bench gives up a little playmaking.
Cade Rosenberger back in the game too for Lucius Bear.
Weber makes the free throw. And Independence up by 2. There's the Trojans in their half court. Quick release by Pella Weiss, and he's got 2 in a row. That was from downtown.
Yes, it was. And that's the kind of shot you want to see the Trojans take. They got really nothing to lose.
Alvarado on the fast break against Bernard. Goes up, and just kind of lost it in the air, and it'll be turned over. And Bernard was just kind of hovering around him to the right.
Yeah. Just kind of got too, it's in another one of those too fast for your feet things.
Yeah.
It looked like Independence is kind of gassed a little bit, but that'll work to the advantage for the Trojans as they call a timeout.
Wyatt Cresser back into the game for Trayton Weber. And we'll have about 40 seconds after this timeout.
While we have timeout, remind everybody out there that we do have a couple special events coming up in the next couple of weeks. Pin the Gym, or the double dual varsity wrestling. I do believe it's Williamsburg and Solon, if I'm not mistaken.
CPU, I think.
CPU in Williamsburg. Coming down on Thursday, we're going to jam the gym, or pin the gym. A lot of special events going on, sponsored by the STC Activity Boosters. And then on the 27th, we have a boy-girl doubleheader for the Jam to Gym against Vincent Shellsburg. We'll have a lot of basketball action going on the Friday night, the 27th. So if you can get to the gym, it's going to be a lot of fun. Raffles, free popcorn, all that fun stuff.
Got a special kind of historical raffle being offered this year. Some side panels from the old jumbotron scoreboard that was in the middle of the roundhouse for so many years was taken apart and created into kind of a wall hanging. So those are going to be up for raffle at Pin the Gym and Jam the Gym. So get out and check that out. They have a piece of history. Here's Independence now on the half court. Michael has it tipped away, out of bounds. Trojans ball.
9 seconds to go in the quarter. Chance for the Trojans to do a little bit of damage.
Pulled together a 5-point lead here after those 2 3-pointers by Pella Weiss. Short time for Rosenberger. Almost threw it away.
There it is.
3-pointer. It's good. Cade Rosenberger from the right
the buzzer.
side.
Nice job.
And the roundhouse is fired up.
Yep.
So 2 3-pointers from Rosenberger, 2 from Pella Weiss, and the Trojans working up 23-15. Great first quarter from South Tama.
Great first quarter, and that coming down that with that last 9 seconds is exactly what South Tama needs to do. They have to hurry, but they have to be patient, and they have to make sure that they continue on with this game the way they've been playing. Take the open shots. Don't rush them. They've got a lot of time. With a team like Independence, one of the things that I've noticed earlier in the year is they kind of get themselves in a rush, and then all of a sudden it's panic time. What do we do?
Right.
Where you get into a little bit of a track meet, and we can do that with the right combination of kids on the floor.
Yep.
But we got to make sure that we're nice and patient as we get that right combination working together.
And depth is going to always be an issue for this South Tama team.
Exactly.
They've got to stay out of foul trouble. They've got to have everybody available, because when those things happen and the pieces start to fall off in the second half, that's when things have fallen apart for the Trojans so far this season. But we've got the fullest bench we've had so far, the most varsity level players on the court for South Tama, and a nice lead here against a WaMaC opponent. So that's good things.
Come up and have Williams play on Alvarado, a little deep pressure, and just get. Oh, there it is.
And Pella Weiss
no foul?
got
smacked in the face.
Got smacked on the 3-point attempt, but no whistle. And we play on. Independence taking away that loose ball. Capeu on the other end, diving into a lane. And he will draw a foul on Independence, I believe, after that exchange.
Kyle Williams has got the foul. I still can't believe that the way his head shot
You could
back.
see his body just
Yeah.
kind of shift over like a pinball machine. You nudge it over to the right. That's what his torso looked like.
Maybe they want to get the scoring up and just have him run.
So here's Alvarado working one-on-one against Williams.
Come
Dumps
on.
it off to Capeu on a double team. Short from the little bunny. And there's Michael dribbling up the court on the right side.
Carried it.
And a carry is called against Michael.
We'll take that. You know, as long as Independence can shoot themselves in the foot a little bit by turning over the ball with the carry and those types of things, let's take it. Take advantage of their mistakes is what we need to do.
And find a lead. Trojans going into a halftime with any kind of a lead would be huge, I think. That hasn't happened yet.
And be confident.
Wyatt Capeu with a bank shot.
That's a nice shot. I like that. He's a nice, patient player, and probably has played a lot of ball with these kids during the summer.
Bernard misses, but it's Keelan Hoover with the putback and the cleanup underneath. 25-17 after the bucket by Hoover. Now, Cade Rosenberger working against Michael. Dolash in the high post. Ivan Alvarado. Give and go with Weiss. Still have not seen Daniel Weiss today. He's available, we understand, but nursing an ankle injury. Missed shot by Capeu. Michael one-on-one against Rosenberger. They work it around to Beatty. And Independence being deliberate here. There's the three from Michael, way long. Independence struggling with their shooting so far. Little press coming up here.
Okay.
And Capeyu
Take a
goes
foul.
to the deck. And so the pressure kind of backfires a little bit for Independence.
Bernard's second foul.
So Davenport and Bernard both with 2 fouls midway into this first half. And so Bernard will head to the bench. That's good news for South Tama. He's got a lot of the points for this Independence squad so far, despite the 3 from Tanner Michael.
Ooh, got away with a walk
Got away
there.
with a walk there. Capeyu missed the bucket, but like the aggressiveness nonetheless. There's Beatty for 3. And Beatty will go to the line for an and 1. Got fouled. That was Josh Beatty. And the foul is on Wyatt Capeyu. So they're saying the foul happened after the shot, so it's no and 1. He just gets the basket, and the Independence now took it out of bounds from the baseline. So here's Tanner Michael against Pella Weiss. Beatty pumps the brakes to the left, inside to Williams. He goes up and will draw the foul underneath. And Capeyu picks up quickly.
Second,
He's
yeah.
got 2. So
It's
South
not a good
Tama
thing.
with fouls on their post players so far. Williams at the line makes the first shooting foul.
And that's the aggressiveness we talked about and the inexperience of doing it's. You know, there's to conference basketball. There's just a little feel.
Something's wrong with the previous free throw. We're trying to hear what the referees are saying down low there. So they're taking away that free throw.
He
was on the line, maybe?
Yeah. He lined up. His toe was over the line when he lined up.
And so
That's 3.
Williams makes the first, has it taken away, misses the second, but Wyatt Capeyu gets called for the shove on the loose ball. And here comes Daniel Weiss getting his first look tonight. Sat the Marquette game with an injury.
And this
And
is where
Capeyu.
trouble sets in because Wyatt's got 3. Picked up 3 quikies.
And he's heading to the locker room, so he's holding his eye there, so he might have something in his eye, or not quite sure, but we're in the bonus now for South Tama, and so that was Beatty on a 1-and-1, missing it. Still a 5-point lead for South Tama. Need to find that rhythm again. We've kind of fallen off the rhythm, if you want to say it that way. Weiss from the half-court line. Alvarado goes downhill, kicks it back out.
Yep.
Weiss off the mark. Good rebound by Dolash. And now Alvarado with a fresh shot clock. To the right. Pumps, goes around. Contact underneath, still no whistle. Williams gathers it near the half-court line. Michael underneath. Tanner Michael finishes it for 2. He's got 7, leading the Mustangs scoring so far. Now Alvarado. Plenty of time left here in this second quarter. Trojans trying to maintain.
Yeah, we just work the ball around. There it is, underneath.
Good
and
pass
take
by
a
Kate
foul.
Rosenberger, and Pella Weiss will go to the line.
It's Beatty's, Jake's second.
Weber getting ready to check in for Independence as Pella Weiss is at the line for 2 shots on the shooting foul.
There it is.
Good for 1. One of the first free throws for Pella Weiss. Has not gone to the line very much this season yet. Good for the first, though. Here's Lucius Bear on for South Tama. We'll give Ivan Alvarado a breather. The second one is good. Good-looking shooter there for South Tama.
Yes, he is. He's got a nice, sweet stroke.
Independence in the half court. Michael, quick shot, fires and good for 3. No, excuse me, that was Jake Beatty.
Jake Beatty for 3. His first of the night.
And the Trojans' lead dwindles to 2 as we're halfway through the second quarter. Daniel Weiss going hard into the lane. Bank shot, it's good. Great effort there by the junior.
Hey, look.
Fadeaway jumper from the baseline, no good. And there's Tanner Michael from 3. He's got 2 of those so far tonight.
Don't let him get hot.
Rosenberger guarded by Michael. Light screen by Weiss. Now Rosenberger again, and Peska's going to call a timeout for South Tama. They're going to talk it over. Capeu looks to have made his way back to the bench. Looks to be okay. So Trojans working with some fouls and going to have to fend off the Mustangs here as they're starting to find their offense late into the second quarter. We'll be right back after this. You're listening to Trojan Country. Located in the heart of corn and cattle country, Iowa Premium procures and processes only corn-fed Black Angus cattle that come hand-selected from family farms in Iowa and neighboring states. As Tama County's largest employer, the team at Iowa Premium are an anchor, not only in the beef industry, but throughout eastern and central Iowa. Iowa Premium, a national beef company. S&S Car Wash provides both automatic and hand wash services as well as detailing for your vehicle. S&S Car Wash, your local car wash destination with convenient locations in Toledo and Tama. Coming out of this timeout, South Tama leads by 1 here as some fouls have entered into the equation in this first half. The Trojans have Wyatt Capeu with 3 fouls, Kingston Davenport with 2. And so onto the court now after the timeout. It's going to be Alvarado, Rosenberger, Pella Weiss, Dolash, and Bear. Smaller lineup here for
exactly. And
Tama.
The key is to keep those guys on the bench as long as you can,
right,
and just stay close. Keep your lead. Do the best you can to keep it going on.
Great pass there by Rosenberger. Alvarado, a little cold tonight so far. He's been aggressive shooting, but his finishing at the hoop maybe pressing a little bit. Michael goes up against Dolash right over the top. Strong jumper there from Tanner Michael. And the Mustangs gain the lead. We've had a couple lead changes here in this first half. Mostly been South Tama. Advantage. Dolash, quick pass out to Weiss. Pella Weiss.
That's 3.
Dangerous.
Exactly. He's 4 for 3, if my math is right.
Pretty good percentage there.
Exactly.
For the senior.
But he probably has the green light to go right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's as long as you need the points.
Dolash with the steal. Great work underneath there by Jeremy Dolash. Has been doing a lot of, would maybe compete for South Tama's most improved player, I think, through this first half.
And he's a nice big body, and he's going to make an impression on this team the second half of the season as they start to find their rhythm with new players and new lineups.
In and out there. Shots no good by Alvarado.
Sometimes it's good, like somebody like Jeremy Dolash, maybe there's a little too much pressure if he has to start or if he has to, if he has to carry the bulk of the load. He might not want to do that.
Michael the missed shot, and Rosenberger comes down with the rebound for the Trojans. Bear now. Gets it out to Alvarado in the wing.
Foul.
And a foul on Independence.
22.
Be on Weber. His first, and the 6th team foul for the Mustangs. So almost bonus time, but coming a little too late here. So despite some foul trouble, some light foul trouble, we're going to head to halftime, you know, with both teams barely reaching the single bonus, which is good news for South Tama, I think. Means they've got options. Here's Alvarado. Again, just kind of losing the thread underneath.
He's getting bounced around underneath there, and they're just letting him play, which is the positive and a negative when it comes to those things.
Yeah.
Alvarado, he might get a little bit frustrated and start to get a little too aggressive.
27 seconds. Independence could hold it for the last possession if they'd like to wind some clock off here. Josh Beatty. Screen from Weber. Long three from Tanner Michael. Rattles in. Good. 1 point lead. 6 seconds now for the Trojans. Alvarado will just heave it. Last second shot. Almost.
It's okay.
Good look there for Rosenberger. Had a buzzer beater to end the first quarter. And the Trojans down 1 going into halftime. Very familiar scene we're seeing here as we've covered the Trojans earlier in the season. We've seen this a lot. We'll see how South Tama can kind of come out of the halftime locker room, and that will be the deciding factor. What they're able to adjust with, what they're able to kind of meet Independence with, energy-wise and scoring-wise, and that'll do it. So we are going to jump over to our get to know the player interview. That's with two of our boys basketball players. We sat down with Jeremy Dolash and Wyatt Capayu earlier in the season. And here's that interview coming up right after this. You're listening to Trojan Country. As partners in the community, Salt Creek Wind Project is committed to supporting Tama County's growth in a way that benefits all residents. Construction on the project will bring hundreds of new opportunities for Tama County's workforce and will allow workers to gain valuable, transferable skills. Hundreds of millions of dollars in tax revenue generated by the project will help improve county services such as schools, roads, and emergency response. And the clean, emission-free power generated will support a more reliable delivery system in the county and beyond. To learn more about Salt Creek Wind or to join our coalition of supporters, visit saltcreekwindproject.com. All right, hello and welcome to another STC Student Athlete Spotlight. Today I'm joined by a couple of our boys basketball players. We've got Wyatt Capayu and Jeremy Dolash. How are you guys doing today after practice?
Good. I'm doing good.
All right. Thanks for making some time. Before we talk basketball, I want to get into just some broader questions to get to know you a little bit, if that's all right. Can you tell me what's been a highlight or a memorable moment so far? You're kind of at the halfway point of the school year. Is there anything that stuck out from the fall or from the first half of the school year as just a memorable moment?
I'm not sure. I don't have a lot, but I'd probably say homecoming. Homecoming was pretty fun. It was pretty enjoyable. Definitely last year's homecoming was a little bit better because we played a dodgeball tournament.
Oh,
but
okay.
This homecoming I think it was pretty good.
All right, nice.
My favorite memory so far is probably being just coming to basketball practice and playing with the guys throughout the year so far.
Yeah, nice. Talk a little bit about your family. Do you have any siblings or any pets? Tell us about each of those if you got them.
All right, I have 5 siblings.
Oh, wow, okay.
I have 1 real sister and then 4 half siblings. I have 2 dogs and a cat. One's named Maggie and Sammy, and I just call the cat Cat.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, that's about it.
I got 9 siblings, and I got 2 dogs, and it's pretty boring.
What are the dogs' names?
I have a full-bred German Shepherd named Luna.
Okay.
Then I have a little ugly dog.
What's the ugly? The ugly dog's got to have a name, right?
His name is Rex.
Rex. Okay, right on. What are some hobbies or interests that you have outside of school, outside of basketball? What do you keep busy with when you're not here or when you're not busy with school?
What I do is I don't really go out. I just stay home a lot. And I just to chill in my room and watch movies and stuff.
If I'm really bored, I'll just play games, or I'll go to the gym, or I'll find something to keep myself entertained outside of school and basketball.
Okay. Talking a little bit about basketball now. How long have you played basketball, and do you remember kind of how you first got into the sport exactly?
I first started in first grade with rec, and I kept doing it. I think I didn't do it fifth grade year, and then I got back into it. I don't remember why I got into it. I kind of just liked it from the start, and yeah, I've just been with it ever since.
For me, when I was like a little baby, my dad always took me to the basketball courts, and whenever I put a basketball in my hand, then that's how I fell in love with the game.
Okay. What's the most enjoyable part of the game for you? There's a lot of components when you think about practicing, think about a game, think about all the parts of a game. Is there a part of it that's the best or the most enjoyable?
I'm gonna say probably when you're on offense and you're scoring and doing like these moves on people, then people get hyped and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably say the same. That's usually the most enjoyable when you can get an offense going and scoring more points. That's usually pretty fun.
Yep. How about the other side of it? What's the most challenging part of the game for you at the moment?
I say for me, just going up strong. That's definitely, like, I need to work on that a lot more, because that is probably like the part that I am not the greatest at. So I definitely need to work on that more.
For me, it's probably whenever I shoot the ball, I start fading away a lot, and I just need to get rid of that bad habit.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. What are some things that you're kind of working on? I mean, you touched on it a little bit. Is there a part of your game that you're working on the most to improve, or what do you kind of think about when you're like, when you think about improvement, think about getting better towards the end of the season? What is the one thing you feel like you would need to do the most or improve upon the most?
For me, I'm gonna say my defense. Like ever since I was little, I've been always working on my defense, getting better and better.
Yeah, like I said before, I just need to work up getting strong. I usually have like my dad or just like someone that I can help, like probably practice with at home, just like help going up strong and just like try to challenge me. But yeah, I really need to work on that.
What's your favorite memory of basketball? It can be as a kid, it can be as a high schooler. What's a favorite memory on the court for you?
Last year was at the end of the practice, and Pesca was talking about if you believe in your shot, you will always make it. And we're sitting right here at half court, just threw it up, swished it,
Nice.
First try.
For me, it's probably when I was playing at Mesquite, the 2021 season, when we went all the way to the game before we went to state and we lost to a really good team. But then they said that we were the toughest team that they ever played.
Nice. Any advice that you have for younger players?
I'm gonna say just be confident in yourself and always trust your teammates to help you on the court too.
Just keep grinding and don't let anybody tell you that like you can't do it, or just like don't let other people bring you down, and just like have confidence in yourself.
Okay, we're going to end with some like lightning round favorites questions, okay? And I'll have you each answer the kind of the run of the questions and then give the mic to the next person, all right? All right, so Jeremy, favorite thing to eat for lunch?
Anything.
All right. What's your favorite video game, movie, or TV show?
Right now it's probably Call of Duty Cold War, because I've been playing zombies a lot, multiplayer. I've been just like grinding on that.
Yeah.
And so that's my favorite right now.
All right. What's your favorite type of music or favorite music artist?
Rap or like heavy metal is like my go-to. I'll sit in the car and I'll just jam out to that.
All right. Favorite type of weather, season?
Just sunny and warm.
Favorite type of animal?
Monkey.
And your favorite basketball player?
John Morant.
All right. All right, we're gonna get the same things to you here, Wyatt. Favorite thing to eat for lunch?
Probably like a Subway sandwich or something.
What's your go-to at Subway?
Ooh, it's like one of those club sandwiches. I don't know what it's called.
All right.
I don't know what it's called.
Favorite video game, movie, or TV show?
Probably my favorite video game is probably Rainbow Six Siege. I've been playing that a lot.
Yeah. Favorite type of music or favorite music artist?
Probably my favorite music artist is John Denver.
Oh, very nice. What is your favorite type of weather or season?
Winter, because I know it's basketball season.
Okay. What's your favorite type of animal?
A red panda.
And your favorite basketball player?
My favorite basketball player? I'm going to say I like John Moran, too.
Okay,
so
yeah,
he's pretty
great.
good.
He's phenomenal. All right. Well, thank you guys very much for the time. Good luck on the rest of the season.
All right, thank you.
Sharn Weber's in Toledo serves central and northeast Iowa with the latest in heating and cooling systems, water softeners, plumbing and electrical installation, as well as expert service and repair. As a family-owned hallmark business from the South Tama community, Sharn Weber's is proud to support Trojan spirit on the field, on the stage, on the court, or in the classroom. When the job needs done, call Sharn Weber's at 800-542-7980. All right, welcome back in. It's halftime here at the STC Round House. We got about a minute to go before we start the third quarter. South Tama trailing by 2. Is that right, George?
Yes.
All right, 33-31 Independence.
33-32.
Oh,
Sorry,
excuse me,
just
by
one.
one.
Just one. Yep.
And really, give me your thoughts after. You were just talking to Coach Fletcher there a minute ago. Thoughts from him and from you on that first half?
Well, the big thing about it is that he mentioned the same thing that we were talking about. Is you've got Wyatt Capeyu, missed bunnies, and it's probably a little bit of just getting the first game jitters out underneath.
Got a lot of family here in a new gym. Yeah,
and there's probably a lot of pressure on him and Lucius and those guys. And then get him and playing with Kingston, so there's going to be a lot of pressure. He's just trying to force it in the paint, and that's one thing that you can't do is just you got to kind of let the gut. When you're not used to playing in the competition like this in front of the family, in front of the fans and stuff like that, you just got to make sure that you just let the game come to you a little bit, and he's going to do that. The bad part about it is he got with the 3 fouls. How much is he going to be playing?
Right.
And that's the whole thing, because you can't afford to, if he gets hot, you can't afford to lose him. And then again, Coach Fletcher said the same thing, is that we're the positives on offense are being negated by the negatives on defense. And that's just kind of one of those things. You've got to play that. If you're going to play that aggressive, you're going to play that aggressive style of basketball, you've got to be very careful to make sure that you're not getting yourself in all kinds of foul trouble, because you can be the greatest basketball player in the world, but if you're sitting on the bench, you're not going to be able to do anything. So look for South Tama to come out, still be aggressive, but they just have to start watching themselves to make sure that they're not too aggressive.
Some unofficial halftime stats as the Independence Mustangs start with it here in the half court. There's Wyatt Kresser going quickly to the hoop. He had a quiet first half, I should say. And Kresser scores first for the Mustangs. They lead by 3. So South Tama was led by Pella Weiss. He had 10. Kingston Davenport with 2. Alvarado with 4. Weiss with 2. Capeyu with 4. And Rosenberger with 8 with a pair of 3s.
And on the other hand, you've got to make sure that you're going to get it. Tanner Michael for Independence is going to be, he scored 13 of the 33 points. So he's got a lion's share of the points for them. So you just kind of have to keep him under control, because we have a tendency sometimes come out at halftime and get in one person's face and another person gets hot, and there's nothing you can do about that. Control it.
Michael picks up a quick foul early in the third here, as he tangled up with a South Tama player on the right baseline, and they both went to the ground, but it'll be Independence foul. South Tama with the ball in the half court. Davenport working with 2 fouls. Kicks it out to Pella Weiss. Long 3-pointer off the rim. And it'll stay with South Tama. Last touch by Kresser down low. Davenport to inbound.
Up top.
Right to Alvarado. Quickly attacking the left. Michael gets a hand in there, and a loose ball ultimately goes to Independence. Aiden Bernard, the sophomore, working with 2 fouls. Sat for a good chunk of the second quarter. Beatty, a 3. Gets his own rebound. Floats one in for 2.
Yeah, you can't let that happen. You got to just you're just not a very good rebounding team right now.
And so once again, South Tama slow to start in the third. And Independence, meanwhile, has found energy and some points early on. A missed 3-pointer by Pella Weiss. Goes right. I don't know what happened there, but Alvarado was underneath the hoop. It hit him right in the chest, but it goes out of bounds. Independence ball.
kind of one of those goofy little things you don't exactly know.
Yeah, hard to tell how that
Yeah.
unraveled there, but
One of those you look up and there's a ball coming at you and you don't know what to do. There it is.
Cresser tries to go to Bernard down low. It gets picked off. Loose ball grabbed by Alvarado. Now Rosenberger. Alvarado guarded by Bernard. Back up to Rosenberger. Hand off to Alvarado from the left side. Bumping around. Post move. In and out. Can't buy a basket right now.
Yeah.
Michael into a double team. Kicks it out to Bernard. He slides along the right side. Out to Beatty for three. He's getting hot. That's Jake Beatty. And
That's not a
suddenly an
good thing.
8-point lead here for Independence.
Have to calm everything down. Just relax. Need here is a quick, we need a basket. Nope, you can't take that shot. Can't take that shot.
And so Alvarado misses just beyond the free throw line. Rosenberger thought it was last touched by the Mustangs, but it will be Mustang ball. And a timeout is called. Is South Tama going to try and regroup here?
Yep.
Some reserves coming into the game for Independence as they are finding their footing here in the third quarter.
And that's going to be the hard thing for the Trojans to do is they've got to overcome this because you've got probably 10 deep on this Independence bench.
Oh, easily,
so when
yeah.
you've got you leave the hot hand in, you can bring in 3 other guys, and if somebody just keep rolling that combination through. Where earlier in the year we were playing with so few guys that we don't have that rotation down yet.
Yep.
So we've got to be really careful here because if you get some fresh legs, and this is where when you start to wear down like this is where South Tama gets themselves in a little bit of trouble.
Bernard to inbound. Some pressure coming here from the South Tama defense. Little trap on Michael. He gets in front of the defense, right down low to Keelan Hoover, and Hoover, easy bucket underneath, wide open.
And he's the kind of guy that can kill you because he's just there. He's just standing around doing nothing. If you're not playing defense, you got to get in somebody's face.
Alvarado takes a
That's a
tumble,
push.
and he'll draw a foul on Trayton Weber. It's going to be Weber's second.
And I think that's probably Weber's role in this whole thing is going to be
Just eat some time.
he's going to
Yep.
eat some time, and he's going to start. He can start pounding some people around.
And that's been effective. I mean, Alvarado's been very quiet tonight. I wonder if he's still recovering from some illness. When we saw him against Marquette, a decent game, but you got to wonder if he's still kind of coming back from whatever he was dealing with.
Right. And it's the long layoff, not being the long 2-week layoff, and then coming back and playing a game on Monday night, and then not playing again until
Michael down, or that was Beatty down low to Bernard. Bernard wide open underneath, and South Tama slow to react here
Yep.
in the third quarter.
all of a sudden there you got Indy on a 11-0 run here to start the quarter, and that's not what you need.
Davenport out to Rosenberger, long three,
There it
rattles in. Some leadership there
Yep.
from Cade Rosenberger.
And he's got a smooth stroke too.
Yep.
He's not going to take a bad shot. He's going to make sure it's there.
And
Okay.
Capeu goes up strong for the rebound. Draws a foul on Hoover. That's exactly what Wyatt Capeu can do for this South Tama team, is just be a strong presence underneath the hoop.
Yeah. You see there, you got to clear that out.
Now here's Rosenberger working against Michael. Gets past him into the right side. Ball tipped away.
South Tama.
Out of bounds. Last touch by Independence. Into the game comes Jake Beatty for Michael. It's going to get a breather. Independence really, as a inbound pass to Capeu, gathers. Not quite strong enough to get it over
Too
the
many
front of the rim
shots
there.
within a foot of the basket that are not going in for the Trojans right here. just kind of
Bernard also
be careful.
can't get it to roll.
Be careful.
Bernard, long three, air ball. Beatty gathers it, and a foul. And out of bounds. Independence, I think that was Beatty that stepped out of bounds. So a fortunate turn here for the Trojans. They get the possession back. Need to put some points on the board here.
Need a basket just to stop the bleeding is right. You know, this is, it's sometimes that's the best thing that you can do. And right underneath the basket, you lose.
And
it's Weber. That's three.
Weber again. Weber thought he had the block and got a little contact there as Capello was trying to go up. Capello took a hard fall, so maybe got the job done anyway.
And that's the thing. That's what I say. The thing that's like he's like built like a fullback, so he's not going to be a finesse player. He's going to just start pounding on you.
And Capello rims out the first one.
Yep. And that's rust. That's just competition rust. There's a difference between playing in a game and in a game and in practice. And
Bernard goes to the bench for Independence.
There it is.
1 of 2 for Wyatt Capello at the line. His first points of the second half, and Trojans need a defensive stop. Weber into double team. Out to Beatty. Beatty for 3. In and out, not good. Weber tracks down the rebound.
And try it again.
Good hustle play by Trayton Weber. And Wyatt Cresser pulls up, drops it down, and Independence now leading by 10 as we got a timeout on the court. South Tama on their heels a little bit in the third. I'd like to say thank you to all of our sponsors that have been with us this winter season. They include Cruzy Phillips Funeral Home, Salt Creek Wind, State Bank of Toledo, Sharn Weber's, Marquest Law, S&S Car Wash, Medicap Pharmacy, Iowa Premium, the Tama Pump, and Mercy Care Tama. Thanks to all those folks. Trojan Country is also made possible by the Charlie Townsend Memorial. And as a reminder, we've got Pin the Gym, Jam the Gym events for the Booster Club coming up this month. Pin the Gym Wrestling Night is coming up just next Thursday. And that's one of the only dual meet for the Trojans at home this season, as we've been crying about all winter long, but nonetheless the reality. But it'll be some very talented wrestlers coming in to face the Trojans, and should be a great night of wrestling. And so get down to the Roundhouse. We'll have that live here on Trojan Country as well. If you can't make it, you can be part of the action with us here on live stream. So
Coach Van Dyke's got himself a nice, fun team.
Yeah, absolutely. Three ranked wrestlers that have progressed and done really well. Some district qualifiers as well that are right there behind them, filling out that roster, and very exciting season for both the boys and the girls, too.
Oh yeah, the girls is fun too.
And Rosenberger can't connect on the pass, throwing it away. There is
charge.
Josh Beatty into the lane.
It's all right. We got away with one there.
Trojans go down like bowling pins, and Beatty's called for the offensive foul. First personal for Josh Beatty, and Independence into a little bit of a foul situation here with 5 team fouls. Into the third, Trojans with no fouls. Yet, though, for their trouble, Independence leads by 10, and I think the fouls just come with the energy.
Right. And that's the aggressive. It's the same thing with South Tama that they did in the first half. That aggressiveness. Get in. Ooh.
Oh, Capello can't get it to land underneath, and Independence comes away with the loose ball. Cresser into the lane, and a travel is called on Wyatt Cresser.
And it's the aggressiveness of Independence coming down and jumping out to a 10-point lead, is that they took it. It's out like taking a page out of South Tama's playbook for that first half. As South Tama got themselves into trouble, and they jumped out to a big lead. And that just keeps coming.
Kingston Davenport had it poked away.
Yep.
Last touched by Josh Beatty. So Davenport will inbound from the sideline.
And that's the
Hoover
aggressiveness.
almost
Holy
stole it
smokes.
away, and there was Williams right in front of Capeyu. Capeyu tries the finger roll, off the mark. Scramble underneath the hoop. Results in a rebound for Keelan Hoover, and the Mustangs with their second unit on here, trying to keep things going as they've been dominant in the third quarter so far. And a foul is called underneath, another offensive foul.
Chug.
And that's going to go
And Hoover.
on Hoover. Second on Keelan Hoover. And that's 16 fouls now, so one more to the bonus. With a minute to go, Cade Rosenberger brings it up
Be patient.
against, you got Jake Beatty and Josh Beatty, and then some second unit players underneath, or in Cresser as well. So it's kind of a half and half lineup. And here comes Bernard. So the starters making their way back on for Independence. A foul underneath. Another foul for the Mustangs. This one is against Kyle Williams.
And this is Coach Beatty's simple solution is just get some quality minutes and a lead with a lead, get some quality minutes out of your bench, and then all of a sudden you can just go after them in the fourth quarter, and you can see Independence is probably going to start to crank it up a little bit with the starters nice and rested.
So 1-1 here for Capeyu. Puts in the first. Was that it? Okay, yeah, the players, everybody thought it was a one shot. I don't know why, but we've got one more shot coming here. 53 seconds after this last shot here by Wyatt Capeyu. Makes them both. Three-pointer by Beatty is good. Josh Beatty, just as quick as you please.
Hello.
Davenport trying to respond, careening into the lane, gets his own rebound.
There you go.
Finishes. Kind of felt like he shot that in midair.
Yeah.
I mean, the ball and him kind of fell, and he ended up getting it to go. Kingston Davenport for two.
And this is where you're going to get. This is what.
And another three.
The
This
Beatty
one
brothers.
by
Yeah.
Jake Beatty.
Yeah. You don't. These guys are.
So it was Tanner Michael really getting work done in the first half. Jake Beatty and Josh Beatty have three-pointers apiece in the second half so far. Capeyu can't get it to go from the right side.
Got a rebound.
Heave from Cresser is off the mark, and we go to the fourth quarter. Trojans trail by 12, not out of it yet, but plenty of work to do in the fourth. MarkWest Law Office in Toledo is a proud Trojan Country sponsor and supporter of STC activities. Attorney Mike MarkWest and the staff at MarkWest Law Office are here to help during life's most challenging moments. The attorneys at MarkWest Law specialize in a variety of areas, including family law, criminal defense, real estate, and civil litigation. With a growing staff of legal professionals, there's a good chance MarkWest Law can handle your case. MarkWest Law. We care, we listen, we can help. Call 641-484-1001 or visit tamalaw.com for more. Cruzy Phillips Funeral Home in Tama is locally owned and operated, serving Tama, Toledo, and the surrounding areas. Cruzy Phillips offers both traditional and cremation services at the time of need, as well as pre-planned arrangements that give you and your family peace of mind. Through competent professionalism, the staff at Cruzy Phillips Funeral Home serves families with compassion and respect for their needs and wishes. That's why they offer services with unique options and attention to every detail. Obituaries and funeral home information can be found online at cruzy-phillips.com or by calling 641-484-3400.
You know what? I think it can happen.
All right, Trojans back with the ball to start the fourth. Alvarado from the right side in the half court just lets it go, and he's really struggled with the handle underneath tonight. hard to say why. I mean, he looks healthy. He looks up to speed and moving around, but been a challenging game so far. And there's Kresser getting it stripped away. And maybe they're just letting him play. That could be it, too. It's Kingston Davenport.
Whoopsie. Don't do that.
All right, what happened there?
What happened where there was Davenport made the basket. Alvarado went up and he grabbed the top of the rim.
Okay.
This kind of, just one of those frustration types of things. And he's just, you're right. There's something not right, because he's not that kind of a. He's not going to make a mistake like that. He's not going to miss those shots that he's been the rock for the Trojans for the first part of the year.
Yeah. Here's Independence in the half court after the misstep by the Trojans. Bernard underneath, and Bernard called for over the back and an offensive foul. So the Mustangs continue to be frustrated by fouls, and that will be a 1-and-1 for the Trojans, as Daniel Weiss will get the free throw. And Bernard picks up foul number 3. So in the fourth quarter, the third foul looks a lot better than if it were in the second quarter, but Bernard's going to have to kind of watch it, as he's been pretty dynamic forward and presence underneath the hoop, as Daniel Weiss makes the first free throw. Second one too.
And getting him back healthy is going to be a bonus too.
Yeah, he's not 100% tonight.
Right, especially if he's going to play, he plays quality minutes off and challenge for a starting spot, really.
Bernard to Beatty. Beatty misses the 3. Davenport going downhill. Can't finish at the hoop.
Slow down.
And Michael bringing it down the court. Michael is fouled and will give the Trojans their first team foul of the second half.
And that's frustration.
It's going to be against Rosenberger, so he... No, that's not Rosenberger's.
They did call it on Cade.
As Cade doesn't have 3, does he? You don't have 3 for Cade, do you?
No.
In and out there for Independence. Bernard on the scramble underneath. Kresser brings it in, gets it out to Williams. Beatty for 3, off the front of the rim. Davenport the rebound, and Trojans on the run here. Rosenberger trying to go by Michael, gets underneath. And a foul. Michael fouls Rosenberger, sending Rosenberger to the line, with the Mustangs in the bonus. It's the second personal for Tanner Michael. 1-and-1 for Cade Rosenberger is no good. Kingston Davenport comes down with the offensive rebound. Wyatt Capeyu dribbles in, kicks it out to Weiss. Daniel Weiss into the lane, bank shot, it's good. Daniel Weiss looking determined here today, despite some physical challenges. 6 minutes to go in the game here. South Tama trailing by 8.
Oh, it's wow.
Steal.
Couple extra steps.
Rosenberger trying to go up for it. Thought he got some contact, but no whistle. And we play on. Independence ball.
Daniel Weiss looks a little jumpy on that ankle, but we'll see how it does in the morning, if it's stiff or still stiff and sore. But he looks like as the game has progressed, he's starting to get a little more confidence in it.
Yeah, got to be getting warmed up, and that'll help. And hopefully his rehab continues, and they kind of bring him back and get him up to 100% sooner than later.
Yeah, and just see how things progress. It doesn't. South Tama was in this game at halftime. If they could have gotten a lead, it could have changed things a little bit. You never know how those things are going to go, what's going to roll, those types of things. But it's the confidence thing. I think it's, you made the point earlier that it's a confidence thing, just making sure that the team that's playing together gets comfortable playing together. And that's, you know, the positive and the negative of the transfer is that you come in and you have to sit.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you feel bad because, you know, you've got a good team on the floor, but you can't practice them together and you can't get comfortable together. And at Christmas time, you know, it's like it's almost the kids, they probably don't see it, but we could make a run at somebody.
Right.
We could make a run and get into, you know, playoff times. Whoever's hot, come playoff time, you're going to be in great shape.
Trojans with the ball out of this timeout. Daniel Weiss to inbound. And it's going to be a baseline violation. I think Weiss might have stepped on the line, but he threw it away at any rate. So one way or the other, it's Independence ball.
Must be being really picky because this crew has called that I don't know how many times tonight.
Weber trying to find Michael down low. He saves it.
Wow.
A little underhand acrobatics for Tanner Michael, and he's going to have a look at a three here. And
he makes it.
Wow, what a sequence there from Tanner Michael. His first points of the second half, but they come at a critical juncture. Rosenberger working against Weber.
That's just hustle.
And Bear almost threw it away.
Pass
his
through.
Own. Ball Weiss down to Rosenberger. Rosenberger goes to the deck, loose ball.
Jump.
And a jump ball is called. Good effort there by Cade Rosenberger.
Indy.
Try and save it, but it'll be Independence with the arrow. Pella Weiss coming on for the Trojans. See if he can provide some shooting maybe. He had three three-pointers in the first half, but it's got to be a system thing too for South Tama. They've got to find, they've got to put him in open spots and be able to pass and control the ball for him to be able to operate.
And that's exactly it. And if you take a look at the
smooth post move there by Aiden Bernard for two, and Independence well into a double-digit lead now. With short time for the South Tama Trojans team as a foul is called in the half court for South Tama.
Down Kyle Williams. And that's the thing is, you know, South Tama's only played, they've still only played 7 guys. And if you take a look at that, 7 or 8 guys. And if you look at that in the first part of the season, that 7, 8 guys would have been everybody off the bench.
Right.
But if it's now, you've got some cogs you can put in the wheel. So, you know, some spokes in the wheel that you may have not had before.
Daniel Weiss makes 1 of 2.
So it's you know, Coach Pesca's probably got to be, when you're getting this group together.
Alvarado comes back onto the court for Daniel Weiss. And a steal right in the half court. Weiss into traffic, has it knocked away. Out of bounds, last touch by Independence. So a hustle play right there, and the steal by Alvarado will give South Tama another possession. They've got just over 4 minutes, though, and they're going to have to mount a pretty sizable comeback. Davenport down low, just an off-balance shot, trying to get his own rebound, and a foul is called on Williams. And so the Independence bench and their crowd not liking it, and
apparently can't call a foul on a loose ball in Independence.
No, yeah.
Here at South Tama, I think they can, because they just did.
And so Davenport at the line for 2 now, as the double bonus in effect for the Mustangs. Davenport makes the first, and you know, with a double bonus situation with 4 minutes to go, that's an opportunity, as Kyle Williams goes to the bench with 4 fouls, as does Josh Beatty.
You know, down by 11.
Second one from Davenport, no good. Kresser the rebound.
Gotta have those.
Bernard down low, good pass there to Weber.
Nice and clean, nice and clean.
And the Mustangs doing a really nice job rebounding. 2 on 3, and they still come up with the rebound. And a fresh clock here. Michael against Rosenberger. And this is where they're going to start to slow things down, too. And just pass the ball here. And Bernard fouled. That's going to be probably 4 on Wyatt Capeu. No, that will be Rosenberger picking it up. So Cade Rosenberger sends Aiden Bernard to the line for 2 shots. First one's off the front of the rim. One more here for Bernard.
Takes the second one. 58-46, Indy up.
Rosenberger working against Beatty, top of the key. Beatty gets a hand on it,
Oh boy.
steals it away. Fast break here, and layup for 2. Good hustle play there by Jake Beatty. Rosenberger, a little heavy on the gas pedal. But there's Kingston Davenport going strong into the lane on the right side, finishes at the rim.
Take a little bit of a run at him and see what happens here. Got to keep playing that aggressive defense, but don't.
Bernard going back to the well again. Can't
Okay.
get it to go.
Got to get your rebounds.
And Bernard's in some foul trouble, but a steal by Independence. We'll give the Mustangs back the ball.
Looked like the Independence guy kind of poked it out of bounds. Unless he reached out and grabbed it.
And so Independence slowly moving things around. South Tama not bringing too much pressure just yet. Bernard splits the defenders, up and over for 2. Davenport out to Alvarado. 3-pointer for Alvarado off the front of the rim. Michael out and running on the fast break. Pulls on the brakes. Kresser, cross court to Beatty. 3-pointer. It's good. Nothing but net.
Good.
Jake Beatty's got 3 3-pointers in the second half.
And you're just
4
kinda- yeah.
the game.
You're just kind of waiting for him to start lighting it up.
South Tama, meanwhile, has gone cold here in this second half. As the 3-point shooting from Rosenberger and Weiss has not been available. There's a air ball there by Beatty. Davenport the rebound. Trojans in the fast break. Capeu. Tough look there underneath.
I don't understand how you can take that shot when you're not squared to the basket if you're not looking at the basket.
Michael misses from the free throw line. Rosenberger comes down with the loose ball. Capeu, jumper off the front of the rim. And we're winding things down here as Independence. And this is what so Independence is going to go on. They're going to snap a 7-game losing streak. They've had some real close ones. Losing last night 3 points to Union. And had a 2-point loss to Wapsie Valley in December. 4-point loss to West Delaware the night before. And so they kind of get on the right side of the column tonight. 32 seconds to go. Beatty finishes again at the hoop. Strong night for him. And South Tama just trying to put the pieces together. A frustrating conclusion here after some promising moments in the first half, but players that have to gel yet. And we've got Ivan Alvarado going to the line here as Trayton Weber just picked up his 4th, but 22 seconds to go left in the game. It's going to be Independence to win here. It's a fresh set of players coming in.
Yeah, and it's going to come for South Tama. It's going to. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they at some point in time this year picked up a shocker somewhere down the road. Maybe it's not going to be. It'll be in the next couple of weeks, or if they go out on the road and they're not feeling the pressure playing at home or whatever it happens to be. They're not a bad team. It's truly honest.
No, they've got some pieces.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of getting everybody's kind of heads on the right page at the right time.
Playing together, getting that flow. That's you've got to have that moving in one direction where people are making the corrections on the shots and not taking the wild shots and those things. We'll see what happens. Tuesday night, they play down at the Extreme Arena in Iowa City, don't they?
Yeah, they play Solon down there, and so that'll be kind of a fun outing for the boys team. Final score here tonight, 67-49 at the Round House. Independence gets the win, break the 7-game losing streak. South Tama falls to 1-8, I believe.
Yes.
1-8.
1-8.
And really, what's been interesting, I don't know if you can pull anything, but I love to look at patterns and you just look at the final scores here. I don't know what to make of this, but tonight's final score 67-49, and you look down the list outside of that East Marshall game that went into overtime, and these are all WaMaC games now, plus the Marquette one the other night. Marion 61-49, Mount Vernon 69-44. 62-44, 65-42, 68-43, and tonight 67-49. So something, you look at those in a group and something feels stuck or something feels, we're repeating things, it seems. And it'll be up to the players to kind of try and figure out what that is and how to kind of overcome that. But we're running into the same wall that we've been running into.
You run into that pattern of gassing out in the second half.
Yeah.
Whether it be late third quarter, early fourth. I think that South Tama hit the bad part about it is you let them go on a 10-0 run.
Right.
When you do that 10-0, when you go on that 10-0 run. And there's something that you can't do that. It's kind of like everybody takes a deep breath and says, you know what, I don't know if we're going to be able to get back in this game.
Yep.
Had it changed and it's a 10-8 deal, and South Tama stays in the game, that's when the adrenaline takes over, and that's when those types of things. Just watching this team if they've been close or how they've been close in the games. And then they seem to run out of that gas.
Yep.
Maybe having those other guys back. Maybe having, knowing that you've got 3 guys coming off the bench that can do some damage is going to help them in the future. But you can see some bright spots. If you could put together 3 quarters the way we put together 2 quarters.
Right.
And then just continue on that. And so then you put 3, by the end of the year, you put 3.5 quarters, you should be in good shape.
Yeah, absolutely. And, South Tama, plenty of opportunities. Got a nice matchup coming up with Meskwaki Settlement. That should be a great matchup and a wonderful community moment, too. Is a lot of cross between those 2 programs and schools. And that one's over at Meskwaki, I think, in a couple of weeks. We'll have that one live for you here on Trojan Country. But at any rate, we've got another full week of action coming up next week. It's going to be the Pin the Gym night on Thursday with the wrestling team. We'll have that live. It's going to be boys and girls dual action. South Tama in Williamsburg and Center Point Urbana will be facing off for that one. And then on Friday, we're on the boys are on the road till the 27th. Is that right? If I'm looking at the schedule correct. We're not going to be back in the gym until the 27th, to that doubleheader, boy-girl varsity doubleheader with Vinton Shellsburg in the Jam the Gym night on the 27th. So Friday, we're going to be on the road to Williamsburg. I think that's going to be a boys' game as well.
Okay.
And so tune in to Trojan Country if you want to get the away game next Friday. So that's kind of coming up for the next week for us here at Trojan Country. Well, we're going to wish good luck to the Trojans on Tuesday. They're going to have girls hosting Solon, while the boys will go to Extreme Arena over in Coralville to take on Solon. I don't know how that got put together. I think it was kind of last minute, but at any rate, that should be a fun trip for both teams.
Yep.
As they're kind of playing a little bit of a winter classic with some other Monticello. I'm blanking on the teams, but a whole 3 different games kind of starting early in the afternoon, going through 7:30 is, I believe, when South Tama is scheduled to start, the last one on the night. So if you want to make a road trip of it, get out and go see the Trojans on Tuesday in Coralville, and we'll be back with you on Thursday. Any final thoughts before we sign off, George?
Nope, just wanted to say, the Trojans played well. If you can get out and see them, they've got a lot of balanced scoring with their top 5, top 6 guys, and they're going to make strides. They're going to make strides. To say that we said this a lot during football. You just have to keep progressing and moving forward with this team. And this team, it's a nice team. It's a young team.
Yeah.
It's a really young team. So, but other than that, get out and see some live action. Middle school basketball starts up this week too, and middle school girls wrestling starts up this week too. So if you're looking for some late afternoon action, get to the middle school, watch some boys basketball and some girls wrestling coming up in a couple of weeks here at home.
You betcha. All right, for that, we will say goodnight and go Trojans.
Go Trojans.